Hey everyone, my name's Keaton Punch, and I directed, filmed, and edited the music video for the song They Wanted You.
Hey, I'm Matthew. I'm Eunith, and I wrote the song They Wanted You, and I am eternally grateful to Keaton for helping make this music video a reality.
Always a pleasure to collaborate with you, Matthew. And we just finished filming this music video about a week ago, very recently, and the idea actually happened not too long before we started filming.
Yeah. It was very quick process on this one. I think we both agreed with one another that we wanted to put the pedal to the metal and see where our imaginations would take us. So it was really fun in that regard.
Yeah, and let's talk about how we came up with the concepts for this music video. I think in the beginning, we clearly had nothing. But
Nothing.
You came to me with a few concepts where maybe the camera was doing the dolly zoom effect, or there was all these locations that came to mind. What was that all about?
Yeah, I thought that leaning into one visual concept or one visual, if you want to just say effect, would be a really fun way to just fill a video with one type of artistic angle. And I talked about dolly zooms. There's the film La Haine that has this massive dolly zoom that I always thought was just hilarious, and thought something that could almost be disorienting for the viewer, but in like a fun experiential way.
Yeah, and we were kind of tossing concepts back and forth and trying to figure out what would be really quick and easy for us to do, because we weren't expecting to get a whole team involved, just the two of us. And eventually I tossed the idea of having the overlay effect with multiple layers of footage stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. And
that would be the main focus of the music video.
Yeah, I think that we talked about, well, you could clone yourself and you could play the parts. And I said, yeah, cloning myself in a room is kind of like a performance video, and that can be really fun to just show the different parts being played. And you said, but what if we clone you and then overlay the blending mode and then have you overlaid with yourself in all these different places with all the different instruments? And then I thought, oh, I'm definitely for this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were almost going the direction of creating a CG environment or like this alley backdrop.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted it to be dark. I wanted the whole feeling and the look of the video to have this darkness to it.
Yeah.
We eventually decided to go very simple with it and just have the black void that you can kind of see us in right now.
Yep, the same one.
And I think that was the best choice for simplicity and convenience for this music video.
Yeah, we talked about a couple of other videos and styles from like the 80s that I had really liked, like Bruce Hornsby videos and Phil Collins. And once we saw what the test footage started to look like, when I was just, wearing a different jacket, I hadn't shaved, I was not even playing the actual parts of the song on the keys, we were just kind of, messing around. Once we saw how cool it all looked in a void, we realized, oh yeah, we should follow this. We should keep going down this path. So I'm really glad that that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah, and we made it possible thanks to this high-quality duvetine fabric, and it really makes the space feel a lot bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how small this room is, but on camera it looks massive, like we're just in this cavernous black void.
Yeah.
Who knows where it ends?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the actual days of production. We only had two relatively short days of production.
That's it.
To make this happen. And
2 nights of production, 2 evenings of production.
Yeah, and we only had 2 lights. You can see there we had one light over here and one light over here, and we set them to be this steely purple color. That looks fantastic on camera. On iPhones, it looks terrible on iPhones.
I like it. I mean, come on. If you're watching this on an iPhone, support it.
So yeah, very simple setup, and we just had Matthew perform with all of his instruments from the 3 different angles. Yeah. So we probably went through the song. Help me do some math here.
Okay, yeah, let's think.
Is there 5 of you?
I think
there
are
5 times 3, 15? 15 takes?
There's a close and far vocal.
Yeah.
There's a close and far vocal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least 15 different takes.
15 different takes.
Times that we had to hear the song here.
Yeah.
And
we always say this about, I always say this about the songs that, you go in thinking, oh man, this is like a fresh song that has been released and we're going to work on the video. But I am definitely going to be sick of hearing this song by the time we're done with the video, because I'm just going to be playing it on a repeat at some point. I'm just going to be hearing it over and over. And that doesn't even count the time when we were doing the test footage. It doesn't count the time that I had to take to practice the instruments, which I had not played for this song in years. So
you had to borrow some of the things that we show in the video, like the drum pad from our friend Manu and the synth.
Thank you, Manu. And the synth, the synth I borrowed from my friend Evan. Thank you, Evan. It helps a lot. Emil let me borrow a very cool microphone of his, the microphone that you see. It's a Sennheiser MD421. I didn't even approach him thinking that I would borrow that microphone. I just didn't have any dynamic microphones in my possession right now because I just record stuff. So I had a bunch of condensers that didn't like have the look with the lighting and the void that we wanted. And he just said, "Hey, how about this? This is going to look great." And he was 100% correct. So thank you all of you for helping make it possible, really.
And on the production side of things, I feel like this was the easiest for me because I just had to hit record and make sure that Matthew was giving me the performance that I was looking for. Yeah. So a lot of the effort during production was put on your hands. What was the toughest part for you?
Drums, hands down. I'm not a drummer. Of all the instruments that take place in like a traditional pop or rock band, that is the instrument that I am weakest by far. I didn't play the electric bass in this song in the video because I also am not a bassist, but that would have been much easier for me to learn than anything else. The guitar, of course, I'm like a guitarist and pianist first, so those are easy. And then singing, I mean, I sing my songs, but learning the drums on the drum pad for this, to have it be compact enough and not bring in a full kit, have it be the drum pad and play the actual patterns, took 3 really solid days of practice. I was just in front of my computer with the drum pad, testing different heights of what was most comfortable for me to actually bang out the patterns, making sure that I wasn't missing a little fill or a little cymbal that would be really obvious to the listener, because I mean, we could fake it for days on end probably, but I wanted to put a little bit of like reality into it, a little bit of effort. So yeah, I got to know the drum pad really well. Thanks again, Manu.
What would you say was your favorite parts during the whole production phase?
Ooh.
I think for me, it's just the lighting setup that we created. I haven't done any sort of production that has this dramatic of a lighting setup. It's all backlit. We don't have like any fill light in the front, so we wanted to have really dark shadows in this, and I think it worked perfectly for this music video.
Yeah, I think in between the takes when I would be performing in different angles, like to the left and then forward and then to the right, when you would be able to tell me based on the previous take, hey, either your hair, work a little bit more with the angle of your face in order to catch the light or to not catch as much light, and then have this edge light effect, or it added another layer to the performance that wasn't like other videos where it was acting above all else, emotively. This one was almost like a dance to show different parts of myself in relation to the light, that it just adds another level that you don't think about in a lot of live performances, the type of venues that people play, and you don't think about it in the other videos that we make. I think that was like a really cool aspect in the creation of this video that I hadn't anticipated, and I was like, wow, this is a little more complex than we realized. We kept thinking this is gonna be so simple, but that was a layer of complexity that was very welcomed.
Yeah, and that was all it took during the production phase.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go to any other locations.
Nope.
We barely even had to move the camera. We moved the camera one time between the close-up vocal shot and then the other angles.
And then left it there for all the other angles. God forbid we bumped into the camera or like tipped it over or something. It was just solidly there.
Mm-hmm. And after that was all done, it was time to start editing, and there was a lot of brainstorming going on where we wanted the editing direction to go, because when you're given all this footage of just a person in a black void, there is endless possibilities of what you can do in the editing process. If you want to make them move around, if you want to animate the scale and change the way they look with particle effects, which
having a black background allows you to isolate the subject, like me in this case, with an instrument in ways that you can't in other environments. So yeah, it's like the most blank slate that you can be given in a video editing setting, to just say, do whatever you want now.
Yeah, and one of our early ideas was to do something kind of along the same lines of the particle effects we did for the One Another music video.
Correct.
And making you in the video look all
like tendrily, having little like wispy hair particles that were more stringy, than the kind of square-based pixel particles in the One Another video. And yeah, we played around with that a lot. It's just hard because you had originally brought it up, and I loved it because it matched the cover art for the single. Yeah. And it's so cool, and I love that cover art, actually, even amongst all the other cover arts for the songs that have come out so far. It is one of my favorite ones, but applying it to myself kind of, I don't know, it didn't feel like it supported the song as much as everything else going on. It kind of felt like this random thing to happen in the middle. I mean, I'll probably export some of that test footage that we did, and like we'll share it and we'll show you kind of what it looks like. I think one of the things you said when we made an entire group of, me, like disappear instantly, you said like, well, we might want to be a little further from like a Thanos snap than that, because it does seem a little bit like bye and the particles.
Yeah, so eventually we decided to simplify things and take it in a more legacy effects type direction, where we wanted it to feel closer to something that someone could do in that era of the Phil Collins music videos, with nothing too in your face, like futuristic effects. We wanted it to feel more natural and pleasing to look at. Yeah. So I just stuck with doing scale up and scale down animations and tons of overlay timing effects.
Feathering from around the different layers in order to scale up and scale down without having like a hard cut of like, there's your feet, there's your ankles or something, right?
Yeah, and it's really fun editing this video because in the intro, I didn't really have too grand of an idea of starting off the music video. In the beginning, I was just planning on just having you very dramatically still in the center of the frame and have the camera kind of cross dissolve between the two different, or the several different versions of yourself. Yeah. But that just seemed kind of boring after watching that over and over again. So I decided to animate each of you to go past the camera, like scale up, and just that became the whole theme that I wanted to keep coming back to and evolving and growing over time until we see the ending of the song where it's just multiplied by 50 and there's it's just a huge payoff in the end that I'd love to see come together.
And I love that feeling of motion. There's a video that Slow Dive came out with a few years back when they had like a comeback record that you're just following this, I think it's a square maybe, and you're just following it being animated, and it looks like you're flying through space, almost like Star Wars level of like the stars past you. But that feeling of just moving the entire time is just so wonderful. Whenever you're watching something, it just feels like, I'm on this little ride. And I think once you achieve that in the editing and I saw it, I was just like, yes, dude, yes. I'm just so happy with it. It was I don't want to use words like vibe and chill, but it is that. It's exactly that feeling, and it makes me so content.
Yeah, and I think it complements the sound of the song very well. And my favorite part throughout the whole music video, of course, the ending is like, everyone's going to love the ending. Massive, yeah. But I especially like the bridge where we have the keys and the guitar kind of alternating back and forth, but still staying in line and going, I think it's away from the camera at that point.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're alternating, like the keys and the guitar.
Yeah, it's just that consistent linear movement. Yep. And I just think that's so hypnotizing to watch and very pleasing to watch.
I actually like my favorite part is a little bit right after that, post-bridge, when the synth line comes back in and the vocal chops are starting. The instances of me are like fading in and out kind of quickly on the actual beat of each of the vocal chops or each of the percussive hits right then. That, to me, like there's just enough bounce and movement before you reach something that is levels of like strobing and just kind of being erratic for the sake of being erratic. It still feels very intentional. And I don't know, the first time you showed me that again, I was like, yes, that feels like the movement that I want with that. And that's my favorite part. But the beginning of the bridge is runner up in my heart as well. Don't worry. Absolutely.
Here's a fun fact. about my editing history. So I really enjoy editing on beats and having things cut on beat with the song. And I learned how to do that because I used to play Call of Duty and Halo in high school, and I would see on YouTube people would post montages of all these epic moments, and they would put the electronic and dubstep music along with the videos, and they would always cut things on beat. I'm like, how do they do that? How do they cut the video to be on beat with the song? That's insane. So that's what inspired me to get into editing, and I made my own montages from Halo and Call of Duty, and then decided, hey, it's really fun to edit with music and to use that as the motivation for when I decide to apply effects or cuts in the song or in the video.
You know, I think that the next couple of music videos should be Call of Duty and Halo montages that we just pay like big Twitch streamers, and we just say we want the most epic plays that you can make, like the most epic 360 no scope headshots or whatever. And then just put my music to that, and then we'll be good.
And our additional request would be to have Eunith as the gamer tag.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's all we need, really.
You have to ask them, can you just change your gamer tag? Yeah. Oh man, here we go. I always knew that the path that we were on made its way to esports. Like that's really the path that we were on.
Yeah. Well, the music video is all done. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed watching it and creating it together. We have even more planned for the future. Who knows how many more, but there's going to be more for sure.
More for sure.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.